Hello everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Puneet. I'm part of Informatica Global Support team. The topic of today's presentation is an introduction to Python transformation on Databricks. These are the topics which we are going to cover in today's presentation. We'll see what is Databricks, the Python transformations overview, the prerequisites, the active and passive transformations, and then the demo. As a demo, I'll be going to cover one of the example which is given on the Informatica 10.4 DI documentation. Before we start, let's try to understand what is Databricks. So the Databricks is Apache Spark based analytics platform mainly used for optimization, and this can be hosted on both Azure and AWS. So as a part of 10.4.1 DI, we started supporting Python transformation as a production release on Databricks engine. Also, the Python transformation can be executed on both Spark and Databricks engine, but it is not supported on the Blaze engine. So this Python transformation, it is mainly used to execute the Python codes in the mapping, so which can be run on both Databricks or the Spark engine. So this transformation provides an interface to define the transformation functionalities by using the Python code. So these are the prerequisites which is mandatory in order to run any Python transformation on Databricks. So when you create a connections under the Databricks connections advanced properties, you have to set the Python execution directory and the Python home directory. If you look at my screen, I have into the connections. In the connections, have taken my Databricks connections and clicked on the advanced properties. So here under the advanced properties, have set two properties. One is called infospark.pythontx.exec, and the other one is like infospark.pythontx.executorenv.python home. So we have to set these two in order to run any Python transformation on Databricks engine. Also, we support both active and passive Python transformations. So these transformations generates a output rows on differently. It is based on the whether of transformation it is active or it is a passive. So, but after you create a transformation, you cannot change the transformation from active or to passive. So now let's see the demo. As I told, I'll be going to cover the demo as a part which is given on example on the Informatica 10.4 DI Python documentation. So this is the 10.4.1 DI documentation here under the Python transformation. If you look at the Python overview, transformation overview, you could see that we support only on Spark and Blaze, Spark and Databricks, not a Blaze. So the Blaze engine is not supported on Python transformations. So under the same category, if you look at the examples, we have examples which is for non-partition data, and also we have an example for the partition data. So as a demo, I'll be going to cover this example. No, as a first step, as I told, first you have to go to your Informatica admin console, and once you are logged into Informatica admin console, you have to go to the connections. So under the connections, you have to select your Databricks connections. So in my case, this is the Databricks connection which is already created. If you do not know how to create a Databricks connections, please refer to my other videos, which is already given on this same presentation description, the reference link. So I am on the Databricks connections here under the advanced in the common properties. There is advanced properties. Click on edit, and there is an edit option. Click on it, and you have to click on new, and you have to set these two properties which are the prerequisites. As the Python is default installed on the Databricks plus Python, so you have to give these locations. This can be found by going to the Databricks clusters, so where you would be able to see what is your the Python versions and all. Here my Python version is 2, so you can set it to 3. So now we have set the Python the properties which are the prerequisites to run any Python transformations on the Databricks, and also we have a CCO create. We also have created a CCO in order to run a mapping on the Databricks connections. If you do not know how to create a CCO, please refer to my other videos. So now we have the connection and we have the property set and everything is ready to create a mapping. Let's move on to the developer tool and we'll develop a mapping. So we are in the developer tool, which I already have created. I have already developed the mapping. Let me just show you again that when you right click on this add transformations, there is a new transformation called Python. You have to click on that, then you can specify the name for that. Once you have it, then there will be in and output ports. So when you select this under the properties, there will be a Python. So here under the in and out, you have to specify the Python code. If you look at the example which I was telling that as a part of this demo, this is the example which is mentioned in our 10.4.1 Informatica DI guide. So where you have to create a source which should have a 2 columns and having a 3 data sets. So I've already created a source which has 2 columns and then now as a Python transformation. So it is mentioned to create a Python transformation. As I told that whenever you create a Python transformation, by default it will be a passive transformation. If you want to make it as active, then you cannot make it as active. During the time of creation itself, you have to specify it whether you want to create it as a passive or active. If you want to see that, let's delete this and again let's create a new Python transformation. Yeah, you can see it here. There is an option to create an active. When you select a create an active, then the transformation will become an active, or else it will be always a passive. So on my use case, let me create a passive transformation. Yeah, so we have created it. Then as per this documentation, so we have to create a output port as is. We already have a 2 ports, that is like sensor locations and the last reading time, and also we have to create one more port called sensor ID out. So in my Python transformation, I've already created this output ports. If you look at the ports, so I have a 2 input ports which is coming from my source, and there is a 3 output ports, and SS1 is a new port which is sensor ID out. So now we have to go to the Python transformation. Here we have to place the Python code. So initially we are generating a sensor ID, and this sensor ID we are assigning to a sensor output port, and then the other which is same as like the sensor location to the sensor location out, and the last reading time out to the last reading time out. So we have a Python code ready. Then now you can connect this output port to as a target. Here my both source and targets are the delta tables. So now we have everything ready. You can just validate the mapping. Once the validation is completed, now you can run the mapping. So now I'm just trying to run a mapping. So the mapping is completed successfully. Let's go to the Databricks cluster and we'll see the output. So this is my Databricks clusters. As you can see, this is my target. So in that you could see the output. Also let me show you the source. Yeah, so this is the source. So this is how actually you can achieve the Python transformation on the Databricks. So make sure that you have set the Python home locations on the Databricks connection under the advanced properties. There are 2 properties which has to be set. This is the prerequisites. Make sure you have to set it, and then as I told, this is how actually you can create a Python transformation and you can run a mappings on Databricks engine. So this is about the demo. If you need to know the reference, then you can click on the below links, and then if you want to know other Databricks video KBs like how to create a Databricks cluster, how to run any ephemeral Databricks clusters, and how to create and run ADLS Gen 2 on Databricks, or how to run DES or the data streaming mapping on the Databricks like Event Hub or the Kafka, or how to create a JDBC V2 connection and run a mapping on Databricks, please refer to my other YouTube videos, or which is already hosted on our successportal.informatica.com. We would like to hear from you. Please write us to supportvideos@informatica.com. Also follow us on twitter.com/infosupport. Thank you.